A Kiss.
by Ines, Bautista-Yao. How can you talk about marrying Andrew after college? Nobody does that anymore unless they're like pregnant. I thought you were going to focus on your career.
Calm down, Chris. Jeez, we aren't making any plans. We're just talking about the possibility. Of course I want a career. I want to make a name for myself doing... I have no idea what something, but I will find that something. You've been on an overreacting rule. Do you know that?
Chris knew it, and he knew why. He couldn't stand how perfect Andrew and Katie were for each other. Sure, he liked the guy. He was great. He took care of Katie. It was fun. He even encouraged Katie to spend time with Chris, which was more than he could say for her BFF, Megan. He actually couldn't find anything to hate about Andrew, and that was why he hated him so much. Because, really, why did he have to be so perfect? I know, I'm sorry, I just feel that you have so much going on for you. If you get married too early, then your life's going to end. He mumbled, looking away from her confused expression. Katie gave him a curious look.
Is that how you see marriage? A dead end?
Well, what do you want me to think? Chris shook his head, picked up his backpack, and got up from the bench they were sitting. I have a class, see you later. Without giving her another look, he left Katie sitting on a bench that they had claimed as their own since freshman year. It was next to the university library because Katie preferred to have easy access to one of her favorite places on the campus, and her BFF Megan, the only one who would have kicked up a fuss, agreed. She loved spending time in the library too. It was actually pretty cool that their grade school friends were back together again. He was also glad that nothing had really happened between him and Inca 3 years ago, because now they were free to be one big happy barkada. Mario, his buddy in high school, had joined their group, and so did Andrew, even if he had a batch ahead and had other friends who were juniors. Then, of course, there was Katie and Megan and Chris. They were 6 in all. There was, well, aside from that, give or take a few other friends from high school who dropped by their bench or joined them on the weekends. Chris stomped off this theology class, berating himself for being so volatile around Katie. She was just telling her plans and what she and Andrew had recently talked about. Katie and Chris always did that. Shared what they went on their lives in their minds and their hearts. Okay, maybe not their hearts anymore. At least not what was in Chris's heart. For the past 3 years, he had made good on his promise for Katie and stayed away from girls. He used to date them randomly, one after the other, without properly breaking up with any of them. This cost Katie loads of grief because the girls in her high school would demand to know what was going on, since they couldn't talk to Chris because he wouldn't answer any of their calls, texts, or emails. They zeroed in on the next best target. His best friend, who was right there in school, easily accessible anytime. But it hit him hard when Katie suggested he was probably treating the girls that way because he was still recovering from a big hurt in the past. Chris was only 14 when Iris broke his heart. After that, he didn't think he could trust another girl again. Yeah, they were fun to hang out with, but when the girls started talking about their feelings and about going on to the senior ball, it was a big sign that there was a lot more than what was going on than just hanging out. He'd make a quick exit and find another girl to hang out with, someone who would hopefully not talk about the senior ball. So, when the time came for that dreaded senior ball, Chris asked Katie to be his date. Andrew didn't mind. He said that they knew they were best buddies anyway and that Katie was hopelessly and irrevocably his. She giggled at this. Chris rolled his eyes, but that night, something changed. Chris was definitely looking forward to spending senior ball with his best friend. No awkwardness, no worries about the future, no annoying talk about what will happen to us if we go to different colleges, no silences where they wouldn't know what to say to each other, and best of all, no tension, because there were no unspoken feelings bursting to break free. Theirs was an easy friendship, one he was perfectly happy and comfortable with, and he was looking forward to having the best night of his high school life. But when he waited for Katie on her living room couch, one that had particularly grown up sitting on, with their 3-year-old sister, Summer, running circles around him and wearing their own puffy pink gown and tiara, for a split second, he hoped Katie didn't have one on, but realized he couldn't care less if she did. He felt a certain anticipation for the evening. He blamed the TV shows for teen movies Katie had forced him to watch with her for overly hyping up senior ball. But he couldn't do anything about it now. He felt the hype. He wanted the hype. When Katie entered the living room in her midnight blue gown that showed off her shoulders and clung to all the right places he had never noticed before, his breath caught in his throat. Her hair was all wavy and loose down her back, but it looked like she had done something to it because it looked shinier. And she was radiant. Her eyes were sparkling. Her lips were glossy. It could have just been an illusion brought about by makeup, but still, he felt as if he were standing next to someone else. Someone he had asked to the ball. Not because she was his best friend, but because there was something about her that he wanted to get to the bottom of. Because there was something about her that was slowly reeling him in. And at that moment, he realized he wasn't just anticipating the hype. He was already living in it.
Only a Kiss
By Ines Bautista-Yao.